Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. We're out on our pile of rubble again, because when this vessel loaded in, it didn't touch the pad, but it sure did blow it up. Anyway, we are out on the launch pad with an Artemis 4. This is the L3 variant, and it is bound for the moon. We are going to take a new batch of crew out to our research station there on the surface, and bring Boris home before he can break anything else. And also it gives us a wonderful opportunity to give this thing a full-up, all-out test run, including a high-speed lunar free return trajectory deorbit and landing, just to make sure all of that is going to work well as to give us a good chance to solidly put this HG3 upper stage through its paces. So our relative inclination with the moon's down to about 0.27, so we will engage our SAS, set our throttle to full, and get this show on the road. Clamps are off. Liftoff thrust-to-weight ratio is 1.13, now it's 1.14. Not spectacular, but we know this thing can make it to orbit, lifting this much tonnage. We've done it before, both in the simulation and in a previous all-up run test. This is, of course, the DN6BX. 6 RS-25s on the core stage, 2 boosters with 4 RD-170s. They're actually 171Ms. They were upgraded, but of course it doesn't reflect that in our right-click menu. So hopefully this will be a nice, easy, predictable flight with absolutely nothing going horribly awry, and I will pick all of you up in orbit. So firstly, I do apologize for the audio levels. It seems that I left them adjusted for what they were when I did the Twitch live stream and forgot to set them back for the recording of this episode. And secondly, it looks like we're going to have to just start factoring in that extra 60,000 launch pad rebuild costs into our nominal launch figures for our heavier lift vehicles, because it just seems that even if we lift the rocket several meters off the bottom of the pad, they're just going to explode no matter what, which is disconcerting. It's an extra 60 grand we got to start working into our accounting figures when we're taking contracts and the like to help keep this program afloat. Really would prefer not to bankrupt ourselves again. Anyway, we're well into our gravity roll here at a less than scenic nighttime launch, unfortunately dictated by our relative inclination with the moon and not stuff that I can make pretty, although I feel like I've done a lot of these nighttime things lately. It is the cost of doing business, I suppose. Anyway, the mission objectives are relatively clear. We're going to take this 3 crew. It does consist of a pilot, engineer, and scientist, and there's booster SEP, and due to a staging mishap, we seem to have fired half of our escape tower SEP motors also. So staging not quite perfect, though I did add an extra set of SEP motors after the first test flight of this vehicle when I didn't feel that the SEP motors pulled the capsule away quite effectively enough. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, we're going to take this 3 crew, an engineer, a pilot, and a scientist, down to the surface of the moon. The initial plan really is to cycle out the crew almost entirely. We have, I think Sally is our on-station scientist at the lunar station currently. She is actually going to remain on station. And there's launch escape tower jettison now that we're high enough to abort to orbit should we have a failure with our core stage. Sally is going to stay on station. The old pilot on station currently, I believe, is Yegor? I could be wrong there. Is going to take our 2 engineers back. Their mission objectives are scope complete. We've gathered all the relative sciencey bits from the local area. So they're going to come home. There's no more things to build or break. Mostly we just want to get Boris back home before he can screw anything else up. And our 2 scientists and a pilot are going to remain on station until they can complete the research that has been gathered already. It looks like it will be a long enough time span where they're going to need 1 more resupply module and then we can go ahead and pack up shop and bring the rest of the crew home. And hopefully that will be before our Mars window, because I would really like to send an experienced research scientist. Anyway, we're coming up on Miko, so here's old me to finish that out. Alright, and there is a core stage flameout. I think we're just going to go ahead and separate it now, as opposed to trying to wait until we get out to our 6.5 million meter periapsis. I'm not sure those SRBs would have been enough. Those set motors really would have been enough to push it down to deorbit it from here. They certainly would have from up here, considering we have a 180 kilometer periapsis. But that's not my greatest concern, I should say. All right, well, we did kind of luck out, and we've got a we're in a pretty good position to make a burn for the moon. We're just going to do it here at periapsis, where it's going to be a little bit more efficient. Efficiency is not really our greatest concern currently. We have more than a kilometer, well, about a kilometer per second more in this HG3 stage than what we would need to hit the moon. Maybe we can use it for capture or something. Wow, that seems like a really small window. There we go. That's a little bit better. Let's focus our view over here and take a look at how we're coming in. That's not too bad. Where's that node? Oh boy. It's going to make it so that I can't see much. All right. Like to get in nice and close. We'll probably have to touch that up with RCS, undoubtedly. There, of course, is our research station. Oh, I guess that's where we did a landing, because that would have been a long time ago. Maybe that's our seismic sensor. Yeah, I did not know I mean, that's not close by any real definition, although it is closer than I thought we were to any other ship. Okay, so obviously I have not checked the staging on things. I'm going to activate this engine manually. Oh, no. That was so dumb. I didn't set the throttle down. Oh, good. Well, alright. We have one ignition left there. Those are our lander engines. Those need to not be there. Alright, so I'm going to mess around with staging quite a while. And we'll get the rest of this stuff sorted out here. I think that should be good. Hope that's good. The rest of the staging I think we'll just be doing manually to avoid wasting an ignition on our transfer stage. I'm glad it has more than one, otherwise this whole thing would have just been scrapped right now. You know what? We'll just we'll use all of our RCS, although nope. I don't know where it's trying to tell us to go. Seems weird. Alright, and I want to bring up our resource panel here. I can take a look at our electric charge. We should have well more than enough, but if we need to blow one of these panels so that we can extend a solar panel, then by golly, we will do that. You'll notice I did, in fact, upgrade all the thrusters here on the Artemis, so we can avoid any of those particular docking-like problems that we had in our last test run. Where are you going, dude? I mean, really? Alright. 2 hours until our node. What's our electric charge drain? Fairly sizable. I mean, but we just have massive amounts of battery, so not the greatest concern at this point. We're about 5 minutes out, and man, we're pointing way below the horizon. Check this engine, because we only have one ignition remaining. Actually, I think we're just going to lean on RCS for a little while. I would like to get, I mean, man, perhaps this is 180. We are currently at 330. But, according to MechJeb, we will displace 4 kilometers per second in 10 minutes, which means displacing around 2 kilometers per second should take a little less than 5 minutes. Maybe. We have 1,952 meters per second on this node. Right under the 5-minute mark would put us at 0, so we're probably just going to lean here on the RCS for about another 2 minutes. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to time warp. Okay. Time to re-ullage in our engine. Ski stable, very stable. Light it. We have a good light, and we are away. Now, hopefully our angle here won't push our periapsis into the atmosphere. We've only got about 40 kilometers we can shed before that happens, but I don't foresee it being an actual problem. I think we're going to do just fine here. Thanks to that hefty extra boost we got from using the entirety of the core stage due to our just lucky angle with the moon at launch, this burn is actually stupendously cheap, and we're probably going to use a little more than half of our total HG3 stage total runtime. Just gathering a quick crew report to see if we can't bring some science with us for really no reason. I'm pretty sure I covered all of these bases already when bringing the initial crew out, or when, yeah, I guess I would have had to have a crew to take a crew report, wouldn't it? I know when we launched the lab, we were just running science experiments like crazy to give them some neat stuff to research while they were down there, because, you know, why not? It's not like this mission has crept on for a couple of years longer than we initially thought it would. But it looks like we are crossing over Mexico, or maybe even Texas at this point. Very long HG3 burn, which is my only concern about such a heavy deliverable payload with this, is that the transfer burn from low Earth orbit to Mars with something a little heavier might be a little unwieldy, but I guess that's a concern that remains to be seen. It could just be that we'll get most of it done, or we'll get the entire upper into orbit on our core stage, and that would leave us with 2 ignitions in the HG3 in case we absolutely had to do a 2-pass burn, which I would really prefer never to have to do. Those are just terrible. Anyway, coming up on the end of this burn, so I will turn you back over to old me. Alright, overdid it a bit. No big deal. We've got gobs and gobs and gobs of RCS fuel. That making, yeah, that's a ejection orbit. I would actually like a collision orbit, so we can dispose of this HG3 stage, even though it's a little bit more than half spent. I'd rather get rid of it than have to go back and delete it later. Alright, RCS off, just for the time being. We're going to shift some things around and then go about extracting our LEM. Did not think we'd be that topped off. Alright, well, let's at least get around to the daylight so we can see what we're doing with this thing. There we go. Give us a nice bit of view. Go ahead and start throwing some panels out. This is our LEM. I get that center tank that I think might be unlocked. It is locked. That's locked. That's locked. Fuel in there is locked. Excellent. So was this tank open? Yes. There we go. Much, much better. All right. Well, first things first, control from here. Jettison. RCS on. Pull ourselves away just a bit. And set as target. This thing is much more nimble now. Oops. Bit much, bit much. And now the always entertaining docking sequence brought to you in 4x post-acceleration. The Artemis is doing a lot better since its thruster upgrade, and our original troubles with the initial test run of this, that was absolutely hell trying to dock with that HAB module, and even more hell trying to dock the whole thing with Tremonia Station. Honestly think that shuttle dockings have spoiled me a little bit. That off-axis docking where I can very clearly see the docking port, it's just so much more enjoyable than trying to line things up while looking through an engine bell and just hoping for it. But it's the challenge that I appreciate, and it's always a lot of fun to try to get this right, even if it did take me upwards of 15 minutes if you're looking at this in real time. And I know what you're going to say. Just go ahead and say it. It's okay. But at some point I thought I was getting better at this, but of course there's always something like this to bring me back down to reality. Let me know that no. These skills are acquired on a long, hard road of just arduous repetition. Lots and lots of practice, and lots of paint removed from the outside of docking ports and the tops of landers through readily misaligned trial and error, etc. We will get there eventually, though, and we will still have fuel left when we do it. You'll be excited to know. Bingo! We are docked. Those are empty. Yes, fantastic. Alright, well, we'll go ahead and separate off from the HT3 stage. Decouple. Thank you. That was a little terrifying. And pull ourselves gracefully away. Not graceful, actually, but whatever. We're doing it. Alright, and let's get our solar panels extended. Thank goodness they are not RCS off, because I don't know what the hell it's trying to accomplish. Alright, and our electric charge, we are charging. Perfect. Get rid of our rendezvous planner. Let's check our course here at the moon. Yep. Alright, well, let's get a little further from our S4B, or our HG3 stage. And then we will make a correction to not pile into the moon. Oh, man. But first... That's just pretty awesome, isn't it? I have to say. That's a winner. I can dig it. Alright. Anyway. S4B stage clearing away on an impact course. That's even better. Alright, so I would like to create a node, please. Oh, good. This is always a lot of fun when it happens, isn't it? I can create a node way out here. Alright, well, we're just going to have to do this by looking at the moon. Which, actually, we should be headed for. That's that way. Let's turn our RCS on. Just drag it around. We're a little bit heavier now, but thrusters on the LEM are not nearly as powerful as those on the Artemis. So let's lock it there. Switch to map view. Moon. Oh, I was facing the wrong way, but whatever. We can just use our reverse key. 28, 29, 33. Way to go, RCS. Done all the good things for us. 33 kilometers is our new periapsis at the moon. We'll add a maneuver here to insert ourselves into a nice, even orbit of some stripe. Speaking of Artemis, shouldn't there be another one in orbit here somewhere? Oh boy. Well, this just got interesting. Alright, well, I'm going to have to check on that later. That's our course for our orbital insertion around the moon. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a panic attack because there's supposed to be another Artemis 3 still in orbit of the moon from our crew that last landed there. If there's not, we have a problem. But we will have to deal with that in a future episode. That's going to do it for this one, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. And I will see all of you in the next one. So until then, see you later.